Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are well. And welcome to Voices in Motion. I'm glad to have all of you here with us today. And this series is all about highlighting people, organizations, and the resources that make a real difference in the lives of individuals with disabilities and their families. So today, I'm super excited to welcome a very special guest. Today, her name is Terry Lancaster, and she is the executive director and co founder of Dash and Scout. And Dash and Scout is doing incredible work with supporting individuals with disabilities and creating meaningful um, opportunities for them to connect and grow. So, Terry, thank you again for joining us today, and I'm super excited to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. And to start us off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired Dash and Scout?
Well, I was a middle school teacher for many, many years and worked with students with disabilities and did a lot of volunteer work in the disability community. And that has sort of always been a passion of mine. And I was lucky enough in 2014 to become the executive director for the Virginia Down Syndrome Association. And I was on their leadership team for about a decade.
Hmm.
And then I retired in 2021 and was able to kind of come together with my business partner and create Dash and Scout. Because as I was serving with the Virginia Down Syndrome Association, there was just a big gap in the community for adults with disabilities to
Mhm.
transition from high school to adulthood to independent living or to gain more independence. And so my daughter, Sarah, who is 31, she has Down syndrome. And my co-founder, Carol, has a son, David, who is 41. So we have firsthand experience about what's not out there to help our adult children become more independent and fulfill their dreams. And so here comes the birth of Dash and Scout. And so both Sarah and David have Down syndrome. And so there's the D and the S. And then there's David and Sarah. And then Dash and Scout is really the name was created to emphasize how you take a dash of this and a dash of that and scout out possibilities for each individual. And so that is how Dash and Scout came about. And so we do serve the adult disability community in Virginia. And we do have clients and participants from all over Virginia.
Mhm. Awesome. I love that. So, thank you for sharing the background. It really helps us understand the heart behind the organization. That's so amazing. So, for those who may be hearing about Dash and Scout for the first time, um, can you tell us what areas you serve and what type of resources that you offer?
So we serve all of Virginia. Um, we've created a mobile model, if you will. We don't have a permanent place yet. We
Hmm.
are working on having a permanent place in Central Virginia, but right now we can take our program and take it anywhere in the state. So currently
Awesome.
we're running programs in Richmond,
Hmm.
Tappahannock, Virginia Beach, and then next fall we are going to run a program out of Wintergreen up in the Charlottesville area. And
Okay.
so, what we do is we have designed a program to help adults with intellectual disabilities actually step out of their own environment
Hmm.
and come into a new environment, living environment, and they actually come to us for 3 days and 2 nights.
Hmm.
Um, and we they practice running a household, living with roommates, um, taking care of personal space, personal hygiene, community space, making decisions, problem solving, and just having that opportunity to practice making their own decisions throughout the day.
Hmm.
And so that is sort of our baseline. In 2026, we are launching two independent living camps, if you will. One is going to be in Richmond in an urban setting, and the other is going to be in a rural setting. And the focus of each of those camps, they'll come to us for 4 nights, 5 days,
Mhm.
and they practice understanding the city life, how to
Yeah.
navigate the city, and how to safety in the city, and so forth. And we'll do the same thing in the rural settings. And they just get an opportunity to live in different environments
Mhm.
and with different people, and how they can sort of just be on their own and have the
Yeah.
freedom to have roommates and make their decide what they want to have for lunch and help make dinner and things like that.
That sounds great. I love that. Because in my area, I'm in Northern Virginia, and I personally don't know of any organizations that are doing what you do. So I love that. I think that's great. And honestly, though you are in, Southern Virginia, if families are able, they can travel to where you are. That way, their loved one can participate in what you guys are doing.
Right. So we really thought long and hard about how do we develop this model, and we
Hmm.
knew there we couldn't find any other model that was exactly like what we were doing, that really involved that independent independent thinking piece, where I mean it's like living in an apartment with 3 or 4 other people and having to decide who I want to play a game with, or let's go for a walk, and sort of just live a life like you and I live, where we
Right.
just kind of decide what we want to do from day to day. And of course, we have very experienced staff there. All of our staff are highly qualified. I have over 40 years of experience working with people with disabilities, and my staff, they're occupational therapists, they're special education teachers, they're physical therapists, they're aspiring social workers. We have a variety of people in our teacher pool that come to us for the weekends
Hmm.
and work with our folks with disabilities. And we have a very hands off approach. We provide a lot of time for thinking and processing and giving our participants a chance to really think about what they want to do and how they want to respond to the environment that they're in. And
Hmm.
the whole concept really is developed to consider the individual, the environment that they live in, and produce goals and objectives throughout the weekend that are unique to them. We can
Hmm.
do it in a group, but the goals and the way we handle each individual is unique to each individual.
Right. That's super important. So a lot of our families utilize Medicaid waivers, and with that, some individuals are eligible for respite services. So would a family be able to use respite with you guys?
No, we're not a respite provider. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
will I will say that when um, our folks come to us, their
Mm-hmm.
families obviously have some free time for the weekend or the few days that they're with us, but that's not our model. Our model, we're not a respite provider. We're not
Mm-hmm.
a group home. We don't
Mm-hmm.
provide. They don't live there, so they come to us for a short period of time. And the reason that we do that is that we have a very just a unique approach to how we provide the services, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been very successful. We have just completed our first full year of actual program operations. We've been at 501 for 2 years. We're heading into our
Mm-hmm.
third year starting in January. And so we have actually priced this in a way that gives us the freedom to manage our approach based on the positive experience that we've already had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we don't take waivers, but it
Mm-hmm.
is priced so reasonably. We also do have a couple of options for folks, even if they can't afford the very modest fee that we charge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that some scholarships are available through some other organizations that we've partnered with, and we haven't fully worked out those partnerships yet, so I'm not going to share that
Yeah.
because it's not all set in stone yet. But there are possibilities for that as well. But again, for a weekend in 2026,
Mm-hmm.
we charge $300, and for our 5 day camp experience, independent living camp, that's $800.
Okay. And is there a limit as to how many times someone can participate with you all?
No, there's not a limit. We love when they come, when our folks want to come back and
Mm-hmm.
continue to develop their independent living skills. We love that, and we have about a 20% return rate. So folks are coming back and wanting to learn more and become more independent, become more confident. Um, but as people apply for our program, we
Mm-hmm.
always want to have room for new individuals to come in and have this experience, because it is a very powerful experience for our participants. And so those folks that really want to, they have some higher goals. They want to be more independent. They really are striving to, be a leader in their community. We've also
Mm-hmm.
started a peer mentor program. And so
Mm-hmm.
for each of our weekends, we have an individual that is part of our peer mentor program that would come in as a fifth. We take 4 individuals each weekend, and then we'll take 1 peer mentor. And that program is proven to be an excellent way for our folks to interact with their peers in a different way. So rather than me coming over and helping somebody complete a task or show them sort of a hand over hand method of completing the task, we have our peer mentor that comes alongside their friend or their new friend, their peer, and they help them. And
Mm-hmm.
they have it's really been very powerful watching the dynamics between the
Mm-hmm.
individuals. And so we started that program this year, and we're going to continue that program into 2026 as well.
Awesome.
And we're hoping that more individuals will want to be part of that program. And right now we have 2 camps and 6 weekend retreats already planned.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been it's we're almost full for 2026, and we're hoping that
Wow.
we get so full that we might have to start have a few more add a few more retreats in
Mm-hmm.
based on popular demand. And
Right.
so that kind of shows us that what we've discovered is this is definitely a need in the community for our folks, and their families.
Mm-hmm.
They get a very detailed report, very data driven detailed report at the end of each retreat, and it gives
Mm-hmm.
the parents valuable feedback about what actually happened in that snapshot of time. And we know that 2 nights is a snapshot of time, and but it does give us a baseline to work on if they come back to us for future weekends. But it gives their parents an opportunity to see what kind of things they want to work on at home. It might
Mm-hmm.
be, more learning to help more in the kitchen, or it might be learning to better take care of their personal space. Safety. We spend a lot of time talking about home safety and living safely and how to recognize dangers and things like that. So there's a whole variety of things that we work on, and everybody's goals and outcomes are different. And so
Mm-hmm.
the feedback that we get from our families is that each of these individuals comes home, and there's just a spark of something that they've realized that they weren't doing before that they really want to do now. And
Right.
that one little spark is so important. It might seem small, but it's so important, because one spark can just build a fire down the road. They can
Exactly.
become
Yeah.
so much more independent by just being given the opportunity to make their own decisions in a new environment.
Yeah. I love that. So, with that being said, can you share one or two success stories of individuals who have been in your programs over the years who have greatly improved?
Um, well, I can think of a couple of well, there's been lots of great feedback that we've gotten from our families, but we've had one individual came in on a Friday, um, just didn't really want to participate, sat in the background, probably even through the application process, wasn't really jazzed about coming, but the family
Mm-hmm.
felt like it might be a really good thing. And so this individual did come. Um, they had some challenges on Friday and participating, um, but as the staff intuitively gave space, expected outcomes, had we always have high expectations. we never just want to say, oh, you don't want to do it. Okay, well, that's fine. But that's just really not, that's not in our sphere of thinking. And so
Mm-hmm.
just with encouragement, modeling, uh, encouraging, you watching the fun,
Yeah.
just coming alongside them. And by the end of the weekend, with the gradual growth, this individual was smiling, participating, helping in the kitchen, helping clean up, and doing things without even being told. And it was just
Mm.
over just a 2-day period, just their confidence and their ability just to kind of give it a chance and
Yeah.
be happy that they did so. And so this individual has returned home and is just appears, according to their family, is they're just happier and
Mm-hmm.
more engaging at home, and things
Yeah.
like that. So that's one really great story. Another really great story is an individual that is fairly independent in general, but came
Mm-hmm.
to us. Is kind of quiet, um, tends to want to stay with the people they know. And so
Yeah.
throughout the weekend, they were encouraged to, speak up more. They were given the space to kind of think about what they wanted to say
Mm.
and be more of an advocate for themselves and expressing their opinions more and so forth and so on. And this individual has come back a couple of times, and the the parents told us the story a couple of weeks ago, um, that this person actually, the dad was like, "You need to take the dog out," and this person said, "Dad, I did it last time. It's your turn." So becoming more bold in
Right.
setting boundaries and so forth and
Mm-hmm.
so on. So we love to see that. We just love to see them um, just feel confident in saying they don't, just speak in their mind. And that's a
Yeah.
pretty appropriate thing to say, actually. Um,
Yeah.
and so, and it's really fun how to watch this blossom. We have a lot of our participants are from Virginia Beach. We have a lot
Mm-hmm.
from Richmond. We have some from Charlottesville. We have one from Northern Virginia. We
Mm-hmm.
have somebody coming from Indiana to join us for
Oh
a
wow.
weekend this summer. And I got a call the other day from somebody in San Diego that said, "Do y'all have Dash and Scout in California?" And I said, "Well, no, but we can."
Yep, we definitely can't.
That can be in the 5-year plan. Absolutely.
Right.
Um,
That's so
and so
amazing.
yeah, and our teaching staff is great. And for those of us, those anybody listening out there, if you have a passion for working with people with disabilities, we'd love for you to apply to be part of our teaching pool. And our teaching pool is very unique because they're all professionals. They all have full-time jobs doing other things, and they apply to be part of our teaching pool. And they may come to us and work with us for 1 weekend a year, or they might
Mm-hmm.
come 2 or 3 times a year. Um, and so, work in different capacities with our adults with disabilities. And so, if you feel like you have a passion for that, and and you want to be part of our teaching pool, our teaching application is open, and it is on our website. And so, we would love to hear from you in that regard, because it's pretty special. It's a pretty special environment.
I absolutely love both of those stories. It definitely shows the power of community and support and just being able to express yourself freely, how an individual can definitely grow.
One thing I'd like to talk about really is our sort of our
Mhm.
application process, so people
Mhm.
kind of know how they can get in touch with us and what it might look like if they're interested in their adult child. We do serve 18 and over,
Mhm.
and so there's an application on the website, and you can apply. And there's different options, that you can apply. There's no, it's not a guarantee that, obviously, because we do have a pretty in-depth process. And once the application comes in, they get a call from one of our staff members, and
Mhm.
then we set up personal interviews. There's a real in-depth assessment they do.
Mhm.
And we even have a participant application if that's, we love to have our participants involved in the process as much as possible. And so once all those things are in, then we match them to other people that have applied and to try to make a really good team of people for each weekend, so that they
Mm-hmm.
all complement each other. They all have assets that they can share with each other, and to make it a real positive experience. And so having only 4 participants per weekend, it gives them enough space to practice their self advocacy skills and their independent living skills and decision making processes. But it also allows for the staff to really take time to work with the individuals and come alongside them as needed to create a positive learning environment.
Right. So, if someone were to apply for a volunteer opportunity, I know you mentioned that everyone who
Yep.
currently works with you guys are professionals. So, are they required to have a certain level of education, or do you guys prefer a certain background?
Um, they definitely have to have experience, a lot of experience with individuals with disabilities. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's not necessarily having a degree in special education or social work or whatever.
Hmm.
But what we look for is individuals that have a career path that aligns with our mission and the things that we do at Dash and Scout. We look at each applicant um, for our paid positions, for our paid teaching staff. We
Hmm.
look at each of those individuals uniquely and look at their experience and their personality and what their goals are professionally. And so
Yeah.
sometimes there might be somebody that doesn't have a degree, but they are on a professional track to work in some capacity in the disability community. And so
Hmm.
we come alongside them in that regard. And so, so that's a yes and a no, I guess, if you will. But as
Hmm.
far as volunteers, we are just beginning to have volunteers that might come, um, that might come um, for an hour or two on a Saturday afternoon to
Hmm.
during sort of the time where our participants have free time. And so
Right.
their free time slots, they can pick, they can pick to do an activity by themselves, or they can do activities with their friends. And so we might have some volunteers come in and come alongside them there and give the staff, time to, do additional planning or things like that.
Hmm.
And so we do have volunteer opportunities during the weekends.
Awesome. And I did want to touch on your programs just one more time.
Yeah.
Um, I know you guys offer the Dash and Discovery, and I know you also offer, I want to make sure, Dave's Place.
Right. So,
Hmm.
Dave's. So to kind of clarify that, the Dash and Discovery is sort of the interview process at the beginning where they are applying. We are looking at the individual, from a individually, and also looking at their environment, and then planning their
Hmm.
goals for the weekends when they're going to come to us. And
Right.
throughout the weekend, we are discovering their strengths and their points, the things that they can work on at home. You know,
Hmm.
we don't ever think anybody does anything wrong ever. I think every person with a disability, they're learning life just like we are. So,
Right.
we don't ever say, they did this wrong. They need to work on this. Our approach is really, if your child wants to be more dependent at home, here's some things that we suggest they could focus on. One or not, or two or three, or whatever they want. But these are all
Hmm.
driven by what they were interested in throughout the weekend. And we observe that and we take data on that. Um, and so that's that. And the weekend program is called Dave's Place. And so
Okay.
they come to us at 4 o'clock on a Friday and they go home at 2 o'clock on Sunday. And that's our
Hmm.
Dave's Place concept. Our
Okay.
our camp concept is called Quest, and
Gotcha.
Quest is the quest for a longer, more intense experience. and some folks are looking for a longer, more intense experience. They
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's really more like actually living on your own. A weekend can be kind of like a vacation,
Yeah.
but 4 nights is really like, oh, it's not a vacation anymore. I'm running this house. I'm cleaning the toilets. I'm doing the laundry. I'm vacuuming. I'm changing the sheets on the beds. I'm running the household, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to have for dinner and who's going to do what to make that happen,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And so those are our two concepts. But we also do some day classes. And in June of 2026, we're going to run a 4-day CPR emergency training class.
Mm.
And it's going to run a Monday through a Thursday. And um, we have a professional that'll come in and execute our curriculum and helping individuals understand being prepared, how to talk to a 911 operator, what happens if a house fire, basic CPR, choking, and things like that. And every class that we offer like that is all centered around independent living skills. And that's really important. These are all skills that we all need to know when we move out and
Right.
live on our own, that type of thing. And so those are that's our day program. We also are going to roll out in 2026 what we call in-home consults, or in-home. We haven't really given it a name yet, but we're going to roll out the opportunity for folks that come to us and want to be more independent, and they haven't figured out how to quite transfer it from when they were with us into their own environment. And so we
Mm-hmm.
would, one of our staff would go and work with them in their own home environment to transfer the skills and set up a plan in their own home that would help them be more independent. Some
Mm-hmm.
folks would need that, some folks not. It's all based on, what the individual is desiring to have. So we have lots of different layers of
Mm-hmm.
programming that we offer.
Okay. And since we know that you guys are hot in the community, when would you recommend individuals start applying for the classes and the in-home supports?
Now,
Now, awesome.
Now, yeah, it's been very popular, and we're really excited about that. I would love for it to be so popular that we had to just keep adding classes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner our applications for 2026 opened up in September, and so
Gotcha.
we do have a couple of spots left over. So if you
Mm-hmm.
think you're at all interested. Some of our weekends are waitlist only now, but things happen. People get sick or something happens.
Yeah.
You just never know. And so we do have a waitlist opportunity, even if we don't have any openings. But we
Mm-hmm.
really we love the opportunity to have that conversation with the family and with the individual that will be coming to us or is interested in coming to us for a weekend. We want to get to know them. We want them to get to know us. And so even if somebody doesn't get in 2026, that person will be a priority for 2027. And so
Right.
we really, really want to make those opportunities available. So connect with us, and we want to have those conversations.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love everything that you guys are doing. I definitely think it's so important and it's definitely inspiring. I love the fact that you guys are wanted down south, Southern Virginia, Northern Virginia, and in Cali. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited. We're a
Mhm.
501c3, totally funded by the community, and so we really encourage everybody, just tell your neighbors about us, and
Yeah.
come visit us, and and sign up. Even if you have a child that you're not, maybe your child's only 16.
Mhm.
um you know I would encourage them to get to know us as well, because they're right in that transition age, and that
Right.
transition age is so important. And I remember, when my daughter got out of high school, it was
Mhm.
like dead stop. There was nothing. she was 22 and there was nothing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so this is one of the things that really preyed on my mind is like, I feel like a lot of what we do, all these skills transfer to the workplace. So, in
Yeah.
some regards, we're helping them build the skills that are they're going to make them a good employee. Things like table etiquette. How do you sit, how do you interact with people at the table while you're having a
Mhm.
meal? And how do you proactively recognize that things need to be done? Like, oh, the trash is overflowing, maybe I should take the trash out. Some people recognize that, some people don't. We work a lot on
Mhm.
helping our folks see things that need to be done before somebody tells them to do it. And these
Mhm.
are all skills that help them be successful in the workplace as well.
Awesome. And one more time, can you tell us the age range that you guys serve?
18 and over.
18 and over.
Yep.
Awesome.
And
So
we
if you, mhm.
we get them all age. We get folks from all ages.
Wonderful. So, for anyone watching, I have dropped the website link for Dash and Scout in the chat. If you are interested in volunteering, I have also dropped that link as well. And all of their applications for their classes and programs are currently are currently open and filling up fast. So Terry definitely encourages everyone who is interested to apply now.
Wonderful. And if you have any questions at all, just give us a call. We're happy to chat.
Yeah. So thank you again, Terry, for joining us today.
Well, thanks for
Your
having me.
Of course, your organization is and your why behind it is super inspiring. It's super meaningful. For those watching, if you tuned in late, you can find the recording on YouTube and it'll also be on Facebook. If you think this resource is helpful for anyone that you know, please share the link, share about Terry and what she does. And we are super excited and thankful for you all who joined us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
You as well.
Bye bye.